Joining us today is a familiar face who we always enjoy having back on Oklahoma Gardening. Steve Dobbs, who is the Landscape Service Director, is here to share with us how he has taken a landscape that was just shrubs and lawn into a transformational process where it is now a botanical treasure as well. Steve, thank you for joining us. Can you tell us a little bit when you first started here, what were some of your priorities and what did the campus look like?
Well, of course, I went to school here many years ago, and at that time I remember, being very formal hedgerows, but as a student, I didn't pay much attention to the grounds because I was having to study so much and, classes and those things. But when I came on as an employee now, looking at the campus from a whole new perspective, it truly was hedgerows, lawn, and you hear the term mow and blow often. That's what it was, mow and blow and dragging water hoses.
And so what were your first priorities to make that transformation?
Well, the dragging water hose thing was time consuming. Staff literally was dragging hoses all over campus. I mean, it was probably less than 10 acres irrigated at that time. And so President Hargis had already initiated some funds to be allocated to put in a new irrigation system on campus. And so that was in the design process when I came on board, so I was able to get into that process. And then we designed the irrigation system where it's very efficient, sustainable, drip irrigation for shrub beds, seasonal color beds. But once that was finally done, that changed everything, because now we could irrigate the core part of campus, do it at night when we should be doing it, or early mornings. And then staff was able to start expanding on attention to detail. We were able to do more creative things. We were able to hire more people on. We have our own new design team, and that changed things because we could design for what we could maintain even. So irrigation really was the starting point of the transformation.
And that was already started by President Hargis before you came on, it sounds like.
Absolutely was.
So obviously the irrigation plays into that sustainable landscape, but talk a little bit about the plant selection also.
It's key, because if you think of a homeowner, we always talk about right plant, right place. Well, we practice the exact same thing on a much larger scale, but I think with us designing it, we're able to study the areas a little bit more and know, is it truly full shade? Is it full sun? Is it wet? Is it compacted soil? Is it full sun in the summer but shade in the winter? And that's the case on many things because of the buildings that are 3 and 4 stories high. So that right plant, right place thing is key, and that really is a sustainable mindset, because if you put the right plant in the right place, hopefully it will get established, less problems with it in the long run.
So with such a busy campus landscape, how have you found ways to integrate unique gardens on campus also?
Well, first and foremost, we remember why we're here, and that's because of students. And what we do, we know is important in student recruitment. And, but also when you get 25,000 students, and then you think about homecoming when there may be 60, 70, 80,000 people in town, you're going to get a little bit of damage and wear and tear, and there's always something going on, so that also makes it fun, but you have to think about that from a design standpoint. Tough plants in certain high traffic areas, things that will take foot traffic. And it all comes into play with design and right plant selection again.
Yeah, I love that there's unique garden spaces to discover all over campus, from the labyrinth to the mother's garden.
Absolutely, and so there's hidden treasures all over the campus. And one I would share with you is the native plant corridor. Mm-hmm. Our campus is very formal looking, especially in front of the library, but behind the library we have an east-west axis that's equally busy. But we've designed it where now it's informal, it's all native plants, and just in 3 or 4 years, it's remarkable the number of butterflies and beneficial insects that you see. So it works even in an urban setting, even on a college campus. And of course our students are very sustainable mindset. You know, they want native plants. They may not know what a native plant is, but they know it's important. And so it educates, it helps the environment, and it's truly important to our design features to have formal yet informal natural areas like Theta Pond, and it's part of a big master plan that we updated even 10 years ago as well.
Right, and you mentioned new buildings, but a landscape is more than just the buildings and the plants. There's a lot of cohesion that's happened with the other hardscape around here, and also the art.
Well, again, President Hargis has a vision for outdoor public art, and so he formed a public art committee years ago, and I have the privilege of getting to serve on that. And even plant material in the campus grounds, it's not just the plants, it's really about interaction. And so when we do the beautiful seasonal color displays or the topiaries, it's, you know, again, students don't necessarily want to know what the plants are, it's how it makes them feel, that interaction. And so it is a juggling match to try to figure that out, but that's why our job is to look at the big picture. How do the spaces interact? What's the balance of hardscape with actual plant material? You know, our trees are all inventory, and we have a huge forestry program that we protect those trees, which comes back to sustainability. But again, a student's interaction around Theta Pond under a shade tree, it leaves a powerful impact on them for years to come, and they come back and want to sit under that same shade tree, maybe where they were engaged even or something. Again, they may not know the kind of tree or the type of grass, but it's that feeling that it leaves them, and it makes them feel special and at home, if you will, on a college campus.
Well, obviously we recognize the change around here, but nationally you guys have been recognized as well for all the hard work you've done. Tell us a little bit about some of the awards you've won.
You know, for years we were just focused on making changes and improvements when funding would come, and a lot of that has been through President Hargis with donor support. I mean, a big part of it has been, but we finally got to a point, it was like we stood back and we were like, wow, we really have made a lot of improvements. You know, you just forget about what all has changed. And so we were recognized, I think, in 2018 with Keep Oklahoma Beautiful for an environmental award for college campus, which is very unusual. And then in 2019, the Professional Grounds Management Society has a competition, and we won the Grand Award for the best maintained college campus in our category, which is large universities, and that's nationwide. So that is very special. Again, tying it back to Burns, but my staff, oh my gosh, you know, they have a passion about what they do, and they work so hard, and we remind them just from picking up litter and branches and proper mowing and the eye-catching topiaries, they all take pride in what they do, and it's accolades to them for their hard work over the years that we got that kind of recognition.
Well, gardening is definitely in the details.
Yes.
And it definitely goes to show what hard work can do, and also proper planning. Do you think you would be where you were if that irrigation hadn't changed, and President Hargis's role in that?
I don't, because it's been kind of, I mean, it's a beautiful campus, and it always has been, don't get me wrong, because our architecture is beautiful. But from Campus Beautification, when we had a plan and we installed it and tried to think about every detail, you know, matching trash cans, light poles, things like that, right plants, but if it wasn't for his direction and vision for how campus could look, none of it would have happened, because it's his leadership, and he always reminds us it's pride and place, and we tell our staff this all the time. Many students make up their mind within the first 15 minutes of arriving on campus before they meet anybody by how the campus looks and how it makes them feel. And President Hargis gets that. And so as a leader, he instilled it in his team, and campus has transformed. I say we've just got to be along for the ride, because it's been an exciting time under his leadership, and campus beautification and sustainability is just one of those pieces.
Well, Steve, on behalf of so many people that visit the campus, we just want to say thank you to you and your staff. It looks phenomenal.
Well, thank you, Casey.
We hope you enjoyed this video. It's part of our Oklahoma Gardening YouTube channel. You can also find even more videos on our OK Gardening Classics YouTube channel. And join us on social media for great gardening tips, photos, and discussion.